Hello, it's a warm welcome in our studios. This is Gttv News Bulletin. With me, Aisha Tukuli. We begin with the headlines. Heads of immigration from ECOWAS member states have held their annual conference in Banjul. The Gambia Police Force gets Forever Forensic Laboratory Lab. Gambian young midfielder Rashid Njai shines in the Latville Premier League. Those are the headlines. Stay tuned for more news details after this short commercial break. Welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, this is GTTV News Bulletin, and I am your presenter, Aisha Tukuli. This week, heads of immigration from ECOWAS member states gathered in Banjul for their annual conference. This year's conference has centered on challenges facing migration within the sub-region. More on this report. A two-day high-level meeting of immigration heads from ECOWAS member states kicked off at the Saudaura Karaba Jawara Conference Center this Monday. This is the first time the Gambia is hosting the top-level gathering of senior immigration chiefs, and this year's conference is held under the theme Acceleration of the Development of the ECOWAS National Biometric ID Card, where the meeting seeks to abolish a 90-day stay permit or resident permit for citizens of the regional community. In his welcome remarks as the host, Director General of Gambia's Immigration, Ibrahim Mboub, expressed gratitude to ECOWAS Commission for holding the forum in the Gambia, while he highlighted the significance of the chosen topics for discussion, which included free movement of its citizens.
As the host of this year's forum, the Gambia is particularly proud to showcase its progress in the implementation of the 1975 ECOWAS Treaty and its protocols. The Gambia Immigration Department, GID in brief, remains deeply committed to ensuring the domestication and enforcement of the ECOWAS free movement protocols, which serves as a foundation for the rights of ECOWAS citizens to move freely, reside, and establish where desired, sans frontière.
Another speaker, Kemi Nana Ndandap, Controller General of Nigeria Immigration, who also doubles as the chairperson of Heads of Immigration Meeting, said the gathering will help foster greater regional integration and free movement of people in the sub-region.
Most importantly, the ECOWAS Commission deserves to be highly appreciated for its steadfastness in upholding unwavering commitment towards strengthening regional integration and ensuring the implementation of the Free Movement Protocol as a vehicle to foster socio-economic development in the West African region.
For his part, the Commission's Director of Free Movement of Persons and Migration, Albert Siwo Boatin, urged the member states to make concerted efforts in terms of implementation of the decision made and be truthful in their deliberations.
To make a concerted effort in terms of implementation. Various member states are at different levels of implementation, but then what we need is the harmonization of what we all agree here, the decisions we make and we take. And also, this is what we use in escalating to the ministers in charge of immigration management or immigration services. And that is what we would also use in terms of escalating that to the ministers of, we call it Council of Ministers. Those decisions we make here, quite sensitive, but let us be as truthful as possible to ourselves, and let's see what the challenges are. Other member states may have it very easy in terms of implementation, others will not, because nobody ever thought that we were going to be thinking of health and security management.
Babukar Boy, the Minister for Public Service, who stepped in for the Minister of Interior expressed gratitude for hosting such a forum, which he said marks a significant moment in their collective journey towards deeper regional integration, mobility, and economic cooperation across the sub-region.
Marks a significant moment in our collective journey towards deeper regional integration, mobility, and economic cooperation across West Africa. It is a testament to our shared commitment to the ideals of free movement, mutual support, and sustainable development. Since inception, the Heads of Immigration Forum has been instrumental in bringing together senior officials from across the region to address the challenges and opportunities in migration and border management.
The forum is meant to bring heads of immigration together in one forum with a view to collectively discuss solutions and strategies of emerging mobility and migration challenges within the sub-region. Reporting for Gttv News, Aissatou. In a latest development, the Gambia Police Force is once again rejoiced for being equipped with modern, sophisticated forensic laboratory equipment, which will help the force to carry out DNA, fingerprint examination, among other crime-related issues. The handing over of the equipment culminated with the 180 days in office of the country's police chief, who vow an unapologetic clampdown on criminals and criminality. More on this report. This is the first time in the history of the Gambia Police Force to get a fully functional forensic laboratory. The equipment includes a DNA and fingerprint units, cybercrime and digital forensic labs. The equipment is expected to help the police in their investigations as the leading internal law enforcement institution. These equipment come at a time when the country is struggling with crimes like stabbing, stealing, drug abuse, and sexual-related offenses. In his address, as he clocked 180 days in office since replacing the top cop, Abdoulaye Sanyang, who is appointed as the country's interior minister, the Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, said the forensic lab will help the force to perform their duties in speeding up case linked to forensic and DNA tests, as well as biological analysis and sexual assault crimes.
We are proud to report that Gambia Police Force Forensic Lab now have the capacity to collect and analyze forensic DNA samples. This development is groundbreaking because it is the first time in more than 100-year history of Gambia Police Force that we have such capacity. Our forensic experts can now conduct forensic DNA testing and biological analysis capabilities essential for modern-day policing, gather and analyze critical forensic evidence from crime scenes, identify perpetrators of sexual assault, homicide, murder, and missing person cases.
The senior officers of the force were then taken on a conducted tour to the facility where they were briefed on how the equipments are operated.
Here with me you have, for instance, this one. Here you have the dead box. It's what they call the UV light and dead box. And then this is where the DNA and then the magics happened, with this light. And then this is the blue light that we normally operate with. And this is the blue light that filters it, and then we do the DNA analysis.
With the help of the cyano accurate, when you get to the crime scene, you collected, let's say there's a knife or there are, let's say, gun, right? You will able to introduce that particular evidence to the cyano accurate. The cyano accurate will able to help you out so that you will be able to visualize that particular latent print. And then with the help of the camera, you will able to take a correct picture of it. Then you go in for the examination using the poroscope.
The forensic apparatus will serve as a support to the Gambia Police Force in prosecuting offenders in court with legitimate evidence. For GTTV News, Aissatou. No more hassle for importing printed school textbooks by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. as the country education ministry is set to deliver the first ever written and printed senior secondary school textbooks. The Gambia has been depending on written senior secondary school books by other nationals for senior secondary school education. The Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Professor Pergamus, who is overseeing the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education since the resignation of the minister, traveled to the Gambia Printed Corporation, where the books are printed, to inspect the new printed books. Our Fatoumata Sise report.
This latest history will now save the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education from spending thousands of dollars to buying learning textbooks for senior secondary school pupils. As you may know, the country had depended on books written by other nationalities for its senior secondary school education. But this latest locally written textbook is expected to address so many challenges. As the overseeing custodian of the Basic Education Ministry, the well-respected Minister of Higher Education, Professor Pergamus, described this monumental development as an unprecedented history. He acknowledged the qualitative content of the books, which he said have undergone a thorough scrutiny before their approval.
And the initiative led to the collaboration of key stakeholders, such as the Conference of Principals, CRED, Writers Association, Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to work together to ensure that the books to be written are of high quality, both in terms of content and the physical materials to enhance quality education and accessibility at the same time. This demanded that these books are thoroughly scrutinized at all levels, from the Directorate of CRED to the Conference of Principals, to ensure that the content is relevant, quality, and consistent with the school syllabus. So because this is what is important, for whatever is produced by our own people to be relevant, and also for the quality to be there and in line with policy. It is important to note that the books we are here witnessing to be handed over to the ministry have all been approved by the CRED Directorate of the Ministry of Education.
The books will now be distributed to all secondary schools across the country as the new academic year just started. And Minister Professor Gomez welcomed the Gambian written books that they will help close the intellectual gaps in the academia after 50 years of independence. He warned against selling the books, which could land the culprits into a humiliating punishment, while advising schools and teachers to shift to teaching the books to pupils of their schools.
To having senior secondary schools using books that are not produced by our own people. What was the essence of our independence if we cannot write our own stories, if we cannot explain and teach our people? So this exercise, bringing our own writers to sit down and work and be able to, our teachers, our lecturers, and then our own printing institution, to be able to produce for the first time in the history of the Gambia, senior secondary school books. This is unprecedented, that our brothers and sisters out there, the principals and the teachers, and also the end users, the students, will make good use of these materials. We expect these books to be used for the purpose it was meant for. We don't want these books also, and that's the message we are sending. We know our books. They cannot be elsewhere. We are the only one producing them. So we don't want them to be seen somewhere else, apart from where they're supposed to be.
As for the start, he promised that the second phase of Book Luck will target the junior secondary schools. He fervently emphasized on calling school-going children to adapt a reading culture for better education. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Fatoumata Sise.
In his quest to ensuring an absolute security within the country Inspector General of Police, briefed the media about the developments registered by the force since assuming mantle of leadership. More on this report. As he marks 180 days in the helm of the leadership of the Gambia Police Force, the Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, on Friday highlighted what he achieved in office, his development visions he yearns to register. Highlighting the programs, he said that the Gambia Police Force remains a professional, accountable public service respecting human rights and rule of law.
Our strategic vision for the Gambia Police Force remains the same, and that is to be a professional, accountable public service, respecting human rights, and of course the rule of law. 2, strategies deployed to ensure safe communities across the Gambia. To operationalize the above-mentioned vision, the fine men and women of Gambia Police Force deployed the following strategies: intelligence-led policing, robust day and night patrol to prevent commission of crimes, continuous training of personnel to maintain their effectiveness, strategic deployment of the Police Intervention Unit and Anti-Crime Unit personnel across the country to provide armed support to the general duty police officers and sister services, providing guards for VIPs, diplomatic missions, and vital installations, sensitization on crime prevention and road safety, establishment of the Highway Patrol Unit. This creation helped reduce road traffic accidents from 278 in the second quarter of 2023 to 151 in the second quarter of 2024, representing a reduction of road traffic accidents from 65% in the second quarter of 2023 to 35% in the second quarter of 2024.
IGP Toure said during the period under review, the Gambia Police Force have registered tremendous successes in their operations and activities such as the reduction in crime, issuance of uniforms, 9 brand new vehicles to 6 regions, and the establishment of a forensic laboratory to administer evidence, just to name but a few.
We have also issued 2 sets of uniforms and berets to all police officers, and we intend to increase this to at least 3 pairs in the next fiscal year, provided funding is provided by the Ministry of Finance. And we have no doubt because they continue to render support to our operations. We have also procured and distributed 9 brand new vehicles for 6 regions to ameliorate their mobility needs. It is our ardent hope that these vehicles will significantly enhance our crime-fighting capacity and response time to Gambians' call for police assistance. We have equally distributed 2 brand new crime scene vans to major police stations to facilitate collection and transportation of uncontaminated evidence from crime scenes to the forensic lab for analysis and storage.
Despite successes, IGP Toure also highlighted key challenges currently face the police in their daily operational routine, such as inadequate security protective uniforms to face criminals, mobility issues to ensure a safe and secure communities across the country, digitalization of their workflow and records management, just to name but a few. Also speaking at the news conference, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Modu Sow, said the press conference shows the commitment of the police in transparency and how far they have come as a law enforcement institution.
Is to ensure that we walk along transparency and accountability. And in such, it is prudent that at a given opportunity where it is possible, because we can't be speaking to all of you every day, but it is indeed necessary to inform you the progress, the challenges, and the way forward in trying to usher this magnanimous institution whose task is solely and wholly to oversee the continuation of society and ensure there is sanity, there is peace and security across the length and breadth of this great motherland of ours.
Reporting for Gttv News, Aisha Tukuli. The call for Africa to unite has been a slogan on the tongues of many Africans. However, this unification call seems not to be attained, as wars continue to ravage the continent, resulting in concrete poverty exacerbated by new alignments. But man who goes by his stage name, Artist Africa, symbolizing his journey towards calling unity among Africans. One of his unique symbols is his multicolored dress code. Our culture journalist Musa Jine sat down with the artist at Lemon Creek to delve deep into his journey for unification. Alfinejaro reports.
In his drive to the unification of Africa, Artist Africa journeyed into his advocacy campaign to unite Africa. In this exclusive interview with Gambian talents, he spoke against the prides retarding the continents, one which he outlined to be jealousy and hatred against each other. In his early life as trader and later as a tourist driver, he quitted the tourism industry after enduring so many plights. Among these plights, according to him, was fighting him because he trimmed in the industry. As a youth man, he denounced social elements like the abuse of deadly kush, drugs, and other bad substances endangering lives of people. He advised young people to desist from anything that would ruin lives. Delving into his unique style among a whole lot of artists, he chose the multicolored dress code, which he said symbolizes the oneness of Africa, as the dress code contained all the national colors of the 54 African countries. Funejalo reporting for Gttv News.
From that story by Alfunejalo will lead us to our first break. When we come back, we look at sports and internationals. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now to sports. In Latvia, where Gambia has an interest because one of its flourishing football stars, Haruna Rasinjai, continues to make a breakthrough. His latest success came after his club secured a comfortable win over Ringa FC in the European Nations Cup final. Almodo Job has been monitoring the latest development of the former under-20 midfielder, and he now reports.
The Gambia-born versatile midfielder Haruna Rashid Njai continues his shining in the Latvian Premier League as his club footballer clubs RFS earned another 2-1 victory against Riga FC, in which the former Young Scorpions midfielder was featured. The match became so special to the Gambian international because it was a day that he turned 19th. Reacting to the victory while speaking exclusively with FSK RFS Media, Rashid Njai expressed joy for playing a pivotal role in helping his team reach the final, marking a significant personal and professional achievement.
Because I'm so happy, today is my birthday and let's go, because before we played, Pastor was telling us, we have to play, because they changed the squad, but everybody was thinking like they will beat us like 5, but, football is not like, you have to believe in yourself, like you do it, So the performance was good, I'm so happy about it.
His performance continues to highlight his talent as a rising star in European football. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Modlamin Job.
Well, congratulations to our former under-20 midfielder, Haruna Rashid Njai. From that story by Modlamin Job, we'll take our second break. When we come back, we'll look at news beyond our borders. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We now look at international news. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, where more than 1,000 seriously ill inmates have been released from one of the most notorious prisons in the latest move to tackle overcrowding. The release began at Makala prison in the capital, Kinshasa, on Sunday. The government pledged to speed up its plans to decongest the prison, where conditions have been described as true hell. Modula Minjob reports.
Some of the inmates identified for release can be seen in a series of images published on the Justice Ministry's Facebook page. In one, an emaciated-looking man with dirty bandages around his right foot and below the knee is being pushed in a wheelbarrow. In another, showing dozens of men all appearing malnourished, one of those in the foreground has an open wound. In a video, a prisoner who seems unable to stand up is shouting that he is going to change his life and no longer cause pain to others. He also praises the official responsible for Justice Minister Constant Mutamba. Mutamba said that those who needed medical attention would be treated while others would be sent home on buses provided the government, the AP News Agency reports. The minister had already ordered the release of hundreds of others from Makala as he tries to get the prison population down. He has also banned the transfer of new inmates to the prison. With a population of at least 14 million people, King Zasa has 2 jails. In addition to Makala, the military prison of Ndole has an official capacity of 500. Emmanuel Adukol, head of the Bill Clinton Foundation for Peace, a local NGO that focuses on prison conditions, welcomed the release but added that more needed to be done to address the problems inside. The jail, which was built in the 1950s, has a capacity of 1,500 inmates, but before this month's attempted jailbreak, it was holding at least 12,000 people according to various estimates. One former inmate told the BBC that conditions inside were true hell. Videos that he secretly filmed inside show how tightly packed everyone was, as well as the inadequacy of the daily rations. The authorities have long acknowledged the overcrowding problem. Some officials have blamed magistrates for sending suspects to prison. In 2020, it was estimated that only 60% of the prisoners were actually serving sentences. The rest were stuck in DR Congo's legal system, where cases can drag on for years. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Modlamin Job.
From that story by Modlamin Job draws the curtains for this program. But before we take a leave of you, here is our top stories once again. Heads of immigration from ECOWAS member states have held their annual conference in Banjul. The Gambia Police Force gets Forever Forensic Laboratory Lab. Gambian young midfielder Rashid Njai shines in the Latville Premier League. Well, that's it from us and the entire production team. It has been a pleasure to go through with you on this news bulletin. Until then, do have a pleasant evening. It's a bye from me and the entire production team.